You're watching Camnet TV, not just another channel. Welcome to our news. The headlines. Senior state advocates take over court cases as NPA work lawyers continue with their strike. KBF and MUTATI form political alliance as the two pledge to dislodge the PF. President EDGAR Lungu meets with 3 church mother bodies ahead of general elections. In international news, South Africa's ANC top officials refuse to step down over corruption allegations. And in sports news, CAF postpones Qatar 2022 June World Cup qualifiers. For the details, join me shortly after this break.
The much awaited for Camnet conference is now scheduled for May 2021 with your hosts, Pastors Victoria and Moses Chiluba.
We have believed that every Zambian was born for greatness and that you and I can contribute to the development of this nation.
The big questions to ask are, can Zambia develop through agriculture? Can we produce indigenous Zambian millionaires? Plan not to miss this national conference on empowering Zambians through agriculture knowledge. Dates 28th to 29th May 2021. Time 07:30 hours to 16:30 hours. Venue the Healing Word Ministries International in Ibex Hill. Charges 950 kwacha. Lunch inclusive for both days. Payments through via mobile money on 0962 965 883 or 0979 753 010, or you can pay via Stanbic Bank account number 91 3000 1825 325. Speakers will be Professor Reda.
We need Zambia to be one of the best nations in Africa.
Professor Munkumba.
If you just listen to a lecture, you may remember hardly anything. In 2 weeks' time, it's all gone. If you read, you may remember 10% of what you've read. If you participate in a discussion, 50% retention of the knowledge. So I always tell people knowledge is the only thing that when you share it, you don't lose it.
Professor Msongole.
Agriculture can actually solve our unemployment for our youth. Through exports, agricultural exports, we can also stabilize our foreign exchange.
Honorable Bob Chinga.
When you do a budget, you plan it so that all the sectors, especially those that will give you low-lying fruits, in other words, you can achieve a lot with it, are the first things you do first.
And biologist Kamweneshe.
If we came together and put our hands together and concentrate on the soil. The people in Kenya, these Swahili people said, Dongo ni mali, means soil, that's money.
Register your participation through Camnet lines. Camnet TV, not just another channel.
With the details, my name is Liseli Kanyanga Muvanga. Some block makers have asked the Competition and Consumer Protection Commission, CCPC, to explain why cement prices have remained high despite the Commission giving a directive that cement prices be reduced in the country. In response, CCPC Corporate Relations Manager Namukoko Kasumpa says the Commission had given cement manufacturers a 1-month grace period in which they needed to comply with the directive. Ms. Kasumpa states that the grace period ends on the 8th of May 2021 and that the Commission will only be able to give its position once the grace period elapses. Details in this report.
The waiting is taking longer.
We sincerely apologize for that break in transmission. However, we will be soon getting back to that story. Moving on in the news, A new political alliance coined the Zambia We Want has been formed ahead of the 12th of August 2021 polls. The alliance carries notables such as Movement for Democratic Change MDC leader Felix Mutati and former Patriotic Front PF presidential hopeful Kelvin Waliafube, commonly known as KBF, among two other leaders. The leader of the alliance, who will be fielded as a presidential candidate, is yet to be announced. And speaking at a media briefing held in Lusaka, Mr. Fube says the alliance is a vehicle that will be used to liberate the country from the alleged poor leadership of the Patriotic Front. Details in this report.
The political environment is getting more tense as August 2021 draws to a close, with political parties now running to form alliances that will ensure 12th August goes in their favor. A new political alliance called the Zambia We Want has been formed, which carries notables such as the Movement for Democratic Change MDC leader Felix Mutati, former Patriotic Front hopeful President Lusaka lawyer Kelvin Waliafube, Zambia for Empowerment and Development leader Ernest Simasa, and Movement for Change and Equity leader John Wadamutale.
Speaking to you, have pledged to undertake that each of us in the alliance will reserve our right to keep our political parties independent of each other, but working together in one coalition agreement. We reserve the right to fuse, if we so wish, into one political organization for the future, and also to form any other alliance we want with anyone.
A shared vision for Zambia. A Zambia that focuses on addressing a whole range of issues that confront us, including the economy, including political governance, including ensuring that Zambia indeed prospers.
The four leaders are hopeful that the alliance will ensure that the Patriotic Front government is kicked out of office come 12th August 2021.
He has refused. He has continued with his progress, and he wants to remain president of this country. It is up to you as Zambians whether you still want President Lungu to be your president. Speaking for myself and my brothers sitting here, we have said no. We can't have this kind of leadership continue to rule this country. Hence my decision to agree with my brothers sitting here. I once read somewhere from a wise man that if you want your results to change in life, you must change your paradigm.
And when asked about the eligibility of President Edgar Lungu in the August general election, Mr. Fube says the court's judgment is final, but that what is important is to ensure that the alliance gets to work and wins the general elections.
We have been taught from law school, right or wrong, obey what the court has decided. The court has decided. But that's a judicial decision. What we are doing now here, my brothers and I, is a political decision. We are now coming to the Zambians to say the courts have ruled. That's legal. But we want the court of public opinion, the Zambians, to decide.
Can the alliance be the savior that Zambia is looking for to deliver it from the hands of the Patriotic Front? Or has the mighty Patriotic Front delivered to ensure that Zambia entrusts it with another 5 years? The answer lies with the holder of that brownish voter's card. Prudence Tota, reporting for Camnet TV News.
Health Minister Jonas Chanda has expressed concerns over the low turn-up of women receiving the COVID-19 vaccinations in the country. The Health Minister says 64% of those who have been vaccinated are men, while 36% are women. Dr. Chanda says community engagement has indicated that women are hesitant to be vaccinated because of some concerns over the safety of the vaccine towards current and planned pregnancies and the ability breastfeeding babies. He says scientific studies done in a number of countries on effects of the vaccines in pregnant women and those breastfeeding indicate an assured safety for both the mothers and babies. The minister, however, says his ministry will make recommendations to update the guidelines on vaccination for pregnant women, but has advised the breastfeeding mothers to go ahead and get the vaccine. And Dr. Chanda says 64,000 people have so far received the AstraZeneca COVID-19 vaccines in the last 3 weeks. Meanwhile, in the last 24 hours, 97 new confirmed COVID-19 cases have been reported, with 1 death. And moving on in the news, the Zambian National Public Health Institute has underscored the need for Zambia to invest in more oxygen therapy services in readiness for a possible third wave of the virus. ZNPI Public Health Specialist Dr. Davis Siwamba notes that this will be critical in mitigating the COVID-19 pandemic, which has negatively affected the country. And Dr. Siwamba says the technical committee will be meeting stakeholders tomorrow to discuss the way forward on holding elections in the COVID-19 environment. Meanwhile, National Science Technology Council Executive Secretary Filippo Zulu says during a period of 1 year, 10 COVID-19 projects have been funded this far under the National Strategic Research Fund, thus adding that the media can also apply for the funds to advance the science projects. And Head Science and Technology Veronica Mwaba has reminded the media on the need to take interest in highlighting science issues in the country. The duo was speaking at a media networking event themed Meet the Researcher. The program was attended by various media practitioners and science research experts.
Tomorrow at 14 hours at LUNGU, there will be a dissemination of the same guidance to the key stakeholders who are the political parties and other stakeholders to understand the context of the content of the COVID guidelines and standard operating procedures and some of the issues that we raised concerning the conduct of elections before, during and after. What are the key issues that they need to observe as we move into elections? Definitely the issues of elections, like you rightly pointed out, is an event, or there are events, a series of events that tend to increase the transmission, meaning the super spreader events.
Further, in speaking to the NSTC contribution to the COVID-19 response in Zambia, we have funded a total of 10 projects over the last 1 year. The 6 were funded under an emergency call that we issued in response to COVID-19 in Zambia, and I've seen 2 of our researchers that responded to that call, and they did bring to the fore very critical information.
See, this coverage should be driven by passion. It's not something like a sangwapo, no. This is why we said we need journalists passionate about public health. So we support our experts. We have a symbiotic relationship with the experts. These are our key sources. They need us and we need them. And together we can take the country forward.
The Republic of Zambia, through the Ministry of Health, is fully aware about the ever-increasing demand for quality health care and improved service delivery, and more critical, the promotion of science and technology to the people of Zambia.
President Edgar Lungu has conferred with representatives from the 3 church mother bodies who called on him at State House Thursday morning. The 3 church mother bodies include the Zambia Council of Catholic Bishops, ZCCB, the Council of Churches in Zambia, CCZ, and the Evangelical Fellowship of Zambia, EFZ. The head of state has saluted the church mother bodies for their continued commitment to engage with his administration on various important and national issues bordering on preserving the country's peace and working towards prosperity towards the August 12, 2021 elections. President Edgar Lungu has since reaffirmed the church mother bodies on his commitment to enhance national peace, dialogue and harmony. The head of state says he remains open for dialogue and engagement with all stakeholders to ensure that the country continues on its trajectory of national building and reconciliation for the betterment of the lives of Zambians. Local Government Association of Zambia Executive Director Maurice Mbolela has appealed to political parties participating in the 2021 general elections to consider adopting more women at local government level. Mr. Mbolela said women remained underrepresented at all levels of key decision-making in the country, a situation he held political parties had an opportunity to change in the forthcoming general elections. At the local government level, out of a total of 1,624 councillors, only 125 are female, while at mayoral level and council chairperson level, out of a total of 116, only 10 are females. He further added that adopting more women had the potential to enhance women's political participation at national and local level in line with the 2016 SADC Protocol on Gender and Development, which seeks to close the gender gap.
With less representation of women at local government level, this will lead to decisions on municipal services being done in a gender-blind manner that will not take into consideration the needs of women and the barriers they face on the daily basis. It is for this reason that the Local Government Association of Zambia is appealing to political parties to adopt more candidates to contest seats at local government level.
We get back to one of our earlier read stories. Some block makers have asked the Competition and Consumer Protection Commission, CCPC, to explain why cement prices have remained high despite the Commission giving a directive that cement prices be reduced in the country. And in response, CCPC Corporate Relations Manager Namukoko Kasumpa says the Commission had given cement manufacturers a one-month grace period in which they needed to comply with the directive. Ms. Kasumpa states that the grace period ends on the 8th of May 2021 and that the Commission will only be able to give its position once the grace period elapses. Details in this report.
Waiting is taking longer for dealers in the cement business who have been aggressively waiting for the reduction in the cement prices following the announcement by the Competition and Consumer Protection Commission (CCPC) that it had funded cement manufacturers for price fixing and division of the market. CCPC indicated that it had funded Lafarge Zambia PLC and Sinoma Cement 10% of their annual turnover for the year 2019 and another 10% for the year 2020. Meanwhile, Lafarge Zambia PLC, Dangote Cement Zambia Limited and Sinoma Cement were ordered to revert to the pre-cartel price ranging between $4.50 United States dollars to $5 United States dollars for a period of 1 year from the date of receiving the board's decision pursuant to Section 59(3)(b) of the Act. This directive has not been in effect as cement prices have remained high, and the dealers in the commodity are now wondering why cement prices have not started reducing on the market. But when contacted for a comment, CCPC Public Relations Officer Namukoko Kasumpa says the Commission had given cement manufacturers a month grace period in which they needed to relay to the directive.
They are still within their 30 days. They are still within the 30 days of response. So once the 30 days elapses, we'll have a position for you. Otherwise, status is still the same. They received the board decision on the 8th of April. So they have 30 days to respond. So we'll only give a position after the 30 days elapses.
One wonders what the next step will be for CCPC, considering that the grace period is almost ending and cement prices have remained unchanged. For now, we can only wait and see what will unfold. Prudence Tota, reporting for Camnet TV News.
We take our first set of commercials to stay with us as we still have more interesting stories lined up for you.
From time immemorial, we have had different types of lighting options, from those that can burn down our investments in minutes to those that dig holes in our pockets due to constant replacement and huge consumption of our ZESCO units. Savenda Electric introduces the new and advanced electric bulb with cutting-edge technology of LED that has low power consumption, gives out bright white light, and lasts up to 25,000 hours. Savenda Electric manufactures all types of LED light, like plastic LED fluorescent tubes, down lights, ceiling lights, outdoor fittings, and solar street lights made to customer specifications. Let's live on the bright side of life by choosing the wide range of Savenda electric lighting solutions that are available in all leading stores and supermarkets countrywide. For orders, call 0962-642-490 or email jnbunda@savenda.com or pchabula@savenda.com.
Every day for me means hard work, going to sell my goods at the local market. To get more customers, I have my secret. Oracle Pure Glycerin. It's soft, smooth, and keeps my skin perfect. And my customers know it. Thank you, Oracle, for my perfect skin.
It's your friends.
I insist.
Your drama.
Do you think you can talk about my dad like that? You in charge.
And intrigue.
Are you out for good or what? What do you want? Dare you say that to me, eh?
Your heroes. It's your moment with your stories. Made at home for your home. 'Cause great stories start on DSTV.
2021 has been described as a highly politically charged year. This is because every 5 years, the country goes to the polls, and that 5 years elapses with only a few months remaining down to the ballot. The battlefield to appear on the ballot is becoming fertile. A lot of people are expressing interest of appearing on the ballot.
In all this, our interest is to put the duty bearers, the leaders, and those aspiring to task by asking the relevant questions.
If you're an aspiring candidate, be it councillor, mayor, or member of parliament, get in touch with us to get yourself on the verdict.
We go beyond speculation in dealing with policy and governance issues. The right questions are asked to help you make a verdict.
For more details, you can call us on 0962 965883, 0979 753010, or email us info@camnettvafrica.com. Terms and conditions apply.
Join us on Camnet TV
every Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, and Friday at 17:45 hours
on a new program dubbed The Verdict.
Remember that Camnet TV is not just another channel.
Thank you so much for staying with us. We continue with the news. State advocates from the National Prosecutions Authority have been left with no option but to take up the lead to handle cases at the Lusaka Magistrate Court following the continued protest by the public prosecutors, which has now gone into the 4th day. Thursday morning, the court was observed with both state advocates and DIG prosecutors who came to volunteer in handling the cases. The prosecutors, majority from the police service, are protesting over the government's failure to issue them with formal transfer letters, and they are also demanding that government resolve issues relating to underpayments on their retirement packages. Details in this report.
The struggle and fight for their plight to be addressed has seen no end, as they have now entered into the 4th day with no response from the relevant authority in how they will deal with their issue. The public prosecutors from the National Prosecution Authority, NPA, among them those who left the Zambia Police Service in 2018, are protesting over the government's failure to issue them with formal transfer letters to NPA. Among other issues that they are protesting over is that once one retires, resigns or dies, they are instantly removed from the payroll system before receiving their terminal benefits. Their fear is that they will not get their full benefits once the issue remains unresolved, and have vowed that they will not return for work until their demands are met. The protest has crippled progress of cases at the magistrate court, with many people, many accused persons and witnesses turned back from the court premises due to lack of prosecutors to handle their matters. But Thursday morning, state advocates from NPA were seen from the courts handling matters boycotted by the public prosecutors. Despite taking up the lead to volunteer in handling the cases this morning, most of the cases were adjourned because the prosecutors in conduct of the cases want relevant authority to meet their demand before they can report back for work. Response from the NPA management side has not yet been received since yesterday, when this reporter sent a press query to the chief administrator. For now, the situation remains the same. Miriam Kemba reporting for Camnet TV News.
Justice Minister Given Lubinda has asked the Lusaka High Court to hear the matter in which he has renewed his application to commence judicial review against the Lusaka City Council decision to postpone the implementation on its resolution to bestow upon him the status of alderman. Lubinda, who is QATAR PF Member of Parliament, argues that the ruling was delivered on papers without an oral hearing. In this matter, Lubinda wants the court to grant him an order of mandamus compelling the council to implement its resolution conferring the status of alderman upon him. Lubinda also wants a declaration that the country's decision to defer the implementation of its resolution was illegally and constituted abuse of process. On the 24th of March 2021, High Court Judge Pixie Yangalio accordingly dismissed Lubinda's application for leave to apply for judicial review after finding that there had been undue delay on Lubinda's part in making the said application. She noted that the decision which Lubinda, who is also QATAR PF Member of Parliament, wants LCC to be compelled to implement was made on the 5th of May 2016, but that the application for judicial review was only filed on the 15th of March 2021, a period exceeding the stipulated period. But in his latest affidavit in support of ex-party summons for leave to amend statement on ex-party application for leave to apply for judicial review, Mr. Lubinda states that following his filing in a notice of renewal of his application for leave to apply for judicial review on the 31st of March 2021, it had not been heard by the court. And still in court news, the Lusaka Magistrate Court has sentenced a 38-year-old man of Lusaka's Chalala area to 3 years imprisonment with hard labor for corrupt practices involving uttering of false documents and obtaining pecuniary advantage. Principal Magistrate, Resident Magistrate Mwaka Nikalile found Kelvin Mulenga of plot number 2803 of Shantumbu area, Chalala, guilty on 1 count of making a false document, 2 counts of uttering a false document, and 1 count of obtaining pecuniary advantage contrary to the laws of Zambia. In count 1, particulars of the offense are that Mulenga on unknown dates but between the 28th of July 2006 and the 30th of September 2013 in Lusaka with intent to deceive or defraud without lawful authority or excuse made a false document, namely a Bachelor of Science degree certificate in civil engineering, purporting that the said degree certificate was genuinely awarded to himself by the Copperbelt University Council, when in fact not. In the 2nd and 3rd counts, details are that Mulenga between the 1st of January 2013 and 31st December 2014 knowingly and fraudulently uttered a false document, namely a Bachelor of Science degree in Civil Engineering, to the Local Government Service Commission and the Engineering Registration Board for employment as a civil engineer and issuance of a practicing license as a civil engineer, respectively. In the fourth count, details are that Mulenga, between the 1st of January 2013 and the 31st of December 2017, obtained pecuniary advantage by false pretenses when he earned in enumeration an amount over 300,000 kwacha when he worked as a civil engineer at Lusaka City Council, when he was in fact not a qualified civil engineer. This is contained in a statement issued by the Anti-Corruption Commission spokesperson Queen Chiwe. And moving on in the news, National Democratic Congress NDC fraction national chairperson from the Joseph Akafumba side, Richard Londe, has doubted government's commitment to revive the mining sector. Last week, government held a mining indaba to discuss the way forward on Zambia's mining industry. NDC national chairperson Father Richard Londe says all the maneuvers being undertaken by the PF government are aimed at creating a perception that it means well for the people. He says what is happening in the mining sector, including the purchasing of Mopani mines, is cosmetic and being pursued for the sake of enticing people to vote for the PF.
Current Vice President, Mama Inungi, 2 days before elections, if I'm not mistaken, she came to the Copa in Chingwala and told the miners to say, we shall give you letters of ownership. That means we're going to be given title deeds after elections. What letters did the miners receive? Letters of offer. When you're offered something, you're simply saying you can get it or not get it, or you cannot get it. But when you're a title deed, that means that becomes yours. Today, 2016, today from the line. If there are people who are those title deeds, I doubt they are true. And for me, I think nobody has got my title deed. But election year, they'll come back again. They are paying miners today in installments when they wait for their money and saved it at one go, which was supposed to be paid to them, is now being paid in intervals. Now, let me ask this question. If PF and they are going to lose in 2021, are they going to continue paying? These are not sincere undertakings. They are just bluffing the miners, and I know miners are well aware. Even if it's paying them in bits and pieces, they are receiving because it's their money. They can't say no, but they know what to do on the 12th of August 2020.
Government says it is working on resolving issues surrounding Pamo Skills Institute in Petauke district of Eastern Province. Home Affairs Permanent Secretary Masia Banda says government has taken note of the cry of the youths in Petauke over the locking up of Pamo by a Petauke-based businessman who is a Zambian of Asian origin, which has angered the youths in the area. Zanis reports that Mr. Banda was speaking Thursday morning in Petauke, where he is on a fact-finding mission regarding Pamo Skills Institute. Mr. Banda says government wants to resolve the matter amicably without injuring anyone. The permanent secretary has, however, warned the youths in Petauke not to take the law into their own hands by staging a demonstration, because doing so will make them face the long arm of the law. Mr. Banda says government will not tolerate any lawlessness on individuals who would want to take the law into their own hands, as they will be dealt with regardless of their political affiliations or race. His comments come amidst rumors that youths in Petauke want to rise against the Indian community in the area following the locking down of Pamo Skills Institute building by a named businessman of Asian origin who claims ownership of the land where the building is constructed.
Pamo Institute, it is a community skills training center which is believed to have been built, there are claims that it has been built on somebody's plot. That is yet to be verified. But youths wanted to take law into their own hands against the Indian community, because it's one of them who is believed to have locked that place. I think I want to urge the residents of Petauke to say this matter, in as much as it needs to be resolved, and government is committed that it gets resolved, they shouldn't take the law into their own hands. They shouldn't politicize this matter. We call upon the people of Petauke to be calm, to be peaceful, as their government is doing all possible, exploring all avenues to make sure that this matter is resolved to its logical conclusion. So anyone who is going to be involved in inciting the youths, or the youths themselves being found doing something illegal, government will deal with them firmly.
We take another set of commercials. Do stay with us as we still have international and sports news. Don't go away.
In this fast-paced era of industrial boom and population growth, there is need to invest in smart ways of managing electricity and water consumption and reducing utility billing costs associated with the postpaid billing system. At Savenda Electronics, we manufacture right here in Zambia different types of high-quality smart electricity and water meters to customer specifications. Savenda Electronics water and electricity meters help you monitor your usage and gives notifications such as low units, tampering, low battery, and many other features. These easy-to-use meters makes it easier to buy units even in these COVID times and top up just from the comfort of your space. Favorable contract terms are available to both electricity and water utilities. For more details, get in touch with us on the following numbers: 0956 580 349 or 0977 498 318. Savenda Electronics, the real deal.
Making GoTV payments is easier than you think, but first you have to log in. First of all, open the GoTV app. Then select your country. Fill in your surname or cell phone number and then your IUC number. That's it. You can log in. Welcome to your home page. Now click on Pay Now. Select Make a Payment. Next, you will be asked how much you wish to pay. You can do this by clicking on the space next to the kwacha sign and entering the desired amount. All the details of your payment, including account details and amount you are paying, will appear. Make sure everything is in order. Now click on the Ting button under Choose Payment option. When the Ting window pops up, click on OK and then Pay Now. Now select Preferred Card Payment or Mobile Money option. When the Make a Payment window opens, click on the pink Pay Now button. Now, you simply authorize the payment by clicking on Send Prompt, which will send a prompt to your mobile number. Once you've received the prompt on your phone, simply enter the unique PIN and you are done. GoTV. Love it.
The much-awaited for Camnet conference is now scheduled for May 2021 with your hosts, Pastors Victoria and Moses Chiluba.
We have believed that every Zambian was born for greatness and that you and I can contribute to the development of this nation.
The big questions to ask are: can Zambia develop through agriculture? Can we produce indigenous Zambian millionaires? Plan not to miss this national conference on empowering Zambians through agriculture knowledge. Dates: 28th to 29th May 2021. Time: 0730 hours to 1630 hours. Venue: the Healing Word Ministries International in Ibex Hill. Charges: 950 kwacha, lunch inclusive for both days. Payments through via mobile money on 0962 965 883 or 0979 753 010, or you can pay via Stanbic Bank account number 913000 1825 325. Speakers will be Professor Reda.
We need Zambia to be one of the best nations in Africa.
Professor Munkumba.
If you just listen to a lecture, you may remember hardly anything. In 2 weeks' time, it's all gone. If you read, you may remember 10% of what you've read. If you participate in a discussion, 50% retention of the knowledge. So I always tell people, knowledge is the only thing that when you share it, you don't lose it.
Professor Msongole.
Agriculture can actually solve our unemployment for our youth. Through exports, agricultural exports, we can also stabilize our foreign exchange.
Honorable Bob Chinga.
When you do a budget, you plan it so that all the sectors, especially those that will give you low-lying fruits, in other words, you can achieve a lot with it, are the first things you do first.
And biologist Kamweneshe.
If we came together and put our hands together and concentrate on the soil. The people in Kenya, these Swahili people say, Dongo ni mali, means soil, that's money.
Register your participation through Camnet lines. Camnet TV, not just another channel.
Thank you so much for staying with us. We continue with the news. In international news, the International Criminal Court, ICC, on Thursday sentenced Dominic Ongwen, a Ugandan child soldier turned commander of the brutal Lord's Resistance Army, LRA, rebels to 25 years in prison for war crimes and crimes against humanity. Dominic Ongwen, 45, was convicted in February on 61 counts, including forced pregnancy, which had never been brought before the Hague-based ICC. He was also found guilty of murder, rape, sexual slavery, and conscripting child soldiers, among other charges. According to the court, Ongwen ordered attacks on refugee camps in the early 2000s while serving as a commander of the LRA, an armed group led by fugitive Joseph Kony, which has waged a brutal war in Uganda and 3 neighboring countries to establish a state based on the 10 commandments of the Bible. Ongwen faced a life sentence, but the prosecution argued that Mr. Ongwen's history of abduction by the rebel group when he was about 9 years old warranted a lesser sentence and requested for 20 years in prison.
The International Criminal Court handed the commander of Uganda's Lord's Resistance Army a 25-year sentence for war crimes and crimes against humanity on Thursday. Dominic Ongwen was a Ugandan child soldier.
The chamber sentences you to a total period of imprisonment of 25 years as a joint sentence for the 61 crimes of which you were found guilty.
Prosecutors had asked for a lower sentence given that he was a child soldier, many of his victims watching the trial. Ongwen was the first person convicted by the ICC of the crime of forced pregnancy. The 45-year-old was found guilty of charges including murders, rape and sexual enslavement during a reign of terror in the early 2000s by the LRA, which killed more than 100,000 people and spread to Sudan, the DRC and the Central African Republic.
And still in international news, the Secretary General of South Africa's African National Congress, ANC, has refused to comply with his suspension after being charged with corruption. Ace Magashule denies the charges and said that he, as head of the ANC, had suspended President Cyril Ramaphosa. The dispute illustrates a power struggle within the governing party. The president warned that any ANC members facing corruption charges would also face a suspension if they did not leave their posts within 30 days. The ANC tougher code of conduct is being seen as a test of whether the party of Nelson Mandela is serious about ending years of corruption within government. On the 30th of March, Mr. Magashule was given a 30-day ultimatum to step down after being charged with embezzling public funds while he was premier of the Free State province. He refused to resign voluntarily, which resulted in the ANC suspending him. But on Wednesday, he responded in a letter to President Ramaphosa and his deputy, Jesse Dante, that he was appealing his unconstitutional suspension and would stay in the job while his appeal was ongoing.
The African National Congress, ANC, South Africa's historic ruling party, has suspended its Secretary General, Ace Magashule, on corruption charges. Magashule was informed of his suspension in a letter signed by his deputy, Jesse Devote. The letter explained the decision would be in the best interest of the ANC. But Magashule, the first senior party official to be sidelined in the wake of the ANC's new anti-corruption policy, has assured that he is not going anywhere. Instead of stepping down, he in turn called on President Cyril Ramaphosa to temporarily step down, invoking his powers as party secretary general. At the end of March, 61-year-old Ace Magashule was given a 30-day ultimatum to step down after being accused of misappropriating public funds while serving as Premier of the Free State, one of South Africa's 9 provinces. Nelson Mandela's African National Congress, which has been mired in corruption for several years, is seeking to regain its form in the eyes of disappointed voters.
We now get into sports news. And in sports news, the Confederation of African Football, CAF, has announced the postponement of the QATAR 2022 FIFA Cup qualifiers that were penciled for June to September due to the COVID-19 challenges across the continent. In a communique to its members associations, CAF says the qualifiers will now take place in the existing windows of September, October and November 2021, with the final round pushed to March 2022. CAF adds that it is assessing its protocols and processes to enhance the implementation of the COVID-related protocols, including specifically focusing on pre-match testing, which had been the source of some challenges in previous windows. Zambia was due to travel to Mauritius for the June 6th away encounter before hosting Tunisia on June 12th. The Chipolo Polo are placed in Group B alongside Tunisia, Mauritania and Equatorial Guinea in the race for the QATAR 2022 FIFA World Cup. Well, that sports item brings us to the end of the news, but before we go, a recap of the headlines. Senior state advocates take over court cases as NPA lawyers continue with their strike. KBF and MUTATI form political alliance as the two pledge to dislodge the PF. President Edgar Lungu meets with 3 church mother bodies ahead of the general elections. And in international news, South Africa's ANC top officials refuse to step down over corruption allegations. And in sports news, CAF postpones QATAR 2022 June World Cup qualifiers. The Camnet verse of the day is coming from the book of Colossians 4 verse 2, and it reads, "Devote yourselves to prayer, stay alert in it with thanksgiving." On behalf of the entire news production crew and myself, Liseli Kanyanga Mubanga, thank you so much for watching Camnet TV News on Camnet TV, not just another channel.